Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So one of the best skills you can learn and choose, sister, is to stay calm in stressful times, to stay relaxed in the chaos, to remain certain on what you want, which allows you to be calm. So listen, if you're listening to this podcast as you are right now, clearly you just may be a mother, or if you're a dude, a father. And raising kids can be a shit show on the best of days. And both my kids, especially my oldest, but both my kids will just have tantrums and explode at times and just be completely irrational and yell. And what's been true for me is that when these things do come up, one of the least efficient, I won't even call it worse, but just one of the least efficient ways for me to respond is to yell back, is to try to rationalize with a 3 and a 6-year-old, have a logical conversation. That's impossible most days. So this morning, my oldest son Tyson was freaking out. He's claiming we stole his money. I don't know where he gets this from. It was right here. My money, some coins that he had, and some toothpaste. I'm like, dude, it's like we gotta be, it's about a 12-minute walk to school. We got 10 minutes now. We will find it, I promise you. No, it's son, you can never get it back. I go, dude, if somebody like broke into our house and stole the money, which in my head I'm saying, which they didn't, but if that happened, I will replace it for you. Like, it's okay. No, you don't have that much money. I'm like, pretty certain I do, buddy. I'm like $20 there or something. I'm good. I can replace it for you. So we had to go find it. Found it. Still screaming and yelling stuff, and out the door, suddenly the magic of outside and moving his body and staying calm in this chaos of the morning wins. When you're calm, you win every fucking time. Every fucking time. Calm. Now, when I say this too, I don't mean be a pushover, right? See, there's one thing to take verbal abuse from someone, your kids, your spouse, your friends, people you work with, right? And there's another to just kind of be like, you know what? The shit you're saying just slides right off of me. It doesn't affect me. And you stay calm. You stay calm. What has been true for me in my life is that there's more times than not that when I stay calm in the chaos, when I remain certain in times where it seems very uncertain, or I just remain like confident and like, I got this in times of stress, I win. And you know what? I've already won, even if it's not the outcome that I want it to be, because I choose my emotions, because I choose my response, because I choose how I show up in that situation. And if you can really understand this, sister, that regardless of what external, shit show is happening around you, parenting, business, with your health or somebody else's, with your marriage, whatever is happening around you is irrelevant to the way that you respond to that situation. Let me say that again, because I want you to really hear this. What is happening around you is irrelevant to the response that you choose to that situation. So, for example, this morning, my son Tyson's choosing to yell. I'm choosing not to yell back. It's a conscious choice. I choose my state. I know that if I lose my shit, not only do I lose, because now I'm upset and I go, oh, you made me feel... No, I lose. And on top of that, I don't get what I want, which is to get my kid to school on time. And to have a good moment with my kid and not a stressful, crazy one, because there'll be those. Calm, relaxed, confident. There's not a whole lot of good that happens in tension. It doesn't. There's not a whole lot of things that come out well in reaction. Now listen, there's a time and a place for that shit, right? If someone was coming at my children and was going to hurt them, I'm not going to be like, let me just be calm. No, fucking dark Karen's coming out full board, right? Like, I'm coming at you. But I don't need to always pull out that energy. It's been a real, experience helping my son to see my 6-year-old who can get triggered in a second, just like I can, right? So I understand how quick he gets to anger, because I've been there too, and I can still go there some days. But for me to teach my child that a powerful way of showing up in the world is not to yell, but is to be calm. Is not to have to use force, but to be certain in my words, be clear on what I want, and relentless until I fucking get it. Discussion is really about power, isn't it? Showing up powerfully. It's easy to show up powerfully when everything's going great. It's easy to have gratitude when you're happy about everything. But can you show up powerfully in the moments that seem to be falling apart? So my coach, Satema, we were talking about this in our call the other day, and he said this to me, and I said yes back to Satema, and I'm like, would I do that? I'm like, I guess maybe I would, but he gave this kind of extreme example, right? And it was the same discussion of like, when people are like really having a hard time grasping what's happening, like a life situation or something with a relationship falling apart, or their health falling apart, or they're dealing with the consequences of the actions that they took, that they're thinking maybe I should have chosen something different. They're having a hard time seeing the lesson and seeing the gift in the shit. And they're just spinning, and they're reactive, and they're raging, and they're sad, and they're all over the map, right? And so we talked about this discussion of power and like what it truly means. When that shit's going on, like you're calm and clear. So he goes, Karen, check this out. Imagine you're on a plane with your family, and speaker comes on, and its flight attendant's frantically saying, both the pilots just had seizures, and the plane's going down. So does anybody know how to fly a plane? Can you imagine that, right? Flight attendants are panicking, freaking out. Passengers start freaking out. So Thomas said this to me. He goes, I know with absolute certainty, I would stand up and say, I will land this plane. And if they go, great, so you know how to fly a plane? He go, nope, but I'll figure it out. He goes, I am so certain I would do whatever it would take. Calm in the chaos. And he goes to me, Karen, you'd probably be the same, right? And I was like, yeah, yes, I would. Yes, correct. That's right. Yes, I would land that plane. I remember getting off the phone or in the moment thinking like, I don't know, would I fucking do that? And then I thought for a moment, and I thought how many times that I've been in my life in crisis, in uncertainty, in chaos. And each time that I've had those things, my muscle, my ability, my adaptation to that shit gets stronger. So as I'm 3 weeks away from hitting 48, 2 kids, it's gone through infertility. We adopted our 2 boys. We've gone through bankruptcy. My husband had emergency surgery for Crohn's. Could have died on the operating table. My dad had a head injury when I was 21. He almost died. He was in a coma for 10 days. My mom, I could go on and on with all the shit, right? This is not to, oh my God, Karen. Everyone's had shit. Everyone's had a tough time in life. This is life. But every single moment I look back and I say, fucking thank you. Thank you. Because yes, as I reflected on that analogy that Satema gave, fuck yes, I would land that plane. I would be certain. I would be calm. Because that is the energy that is required. And you don't have to be at the crisis of having to land a plane that's going down in order to unleash and to show up in that way. So here's your more tip for today then, sister. What is going on in your life right now, whether it's just chaos all around you, that you are in the shit, that you feel stuck, that you're just like, fuck, the hell is going on? So what is one step you can take today that will allow you, instead of showing up, I'm going to make an assumption here, but instead of showing up in like fuck and anger and sadness and resentment and why has this happened to me, but instead you show up with calm, certainty, confidence. This sucks. You're not denoting that what's happening right now. It's not like everything happens for a reason. I'm good with that forced smile, and you're just like a crazy person on the inside. Not that, sister. You're recognizing and acknowledging the reality of what is, but yet you know you will get through this, but yet you see that there's something for you to see, but yet you know there's a possibility for you to have incredible fucking expansion in the shit that's happening in your life right now. What is that one action you can take today to actually get that? So if you want to go deep, sister, on these things, this is what the sisterhood is all about. Actually, two things I'm going to talk to you about. The sisterhood is a coaching program I created about 8 weeks ago, 9, maybe 10 weeks ago at this point, which is a Facebook group. So it is a minimal investment every single month. It is the lowest tuition program I've ever offered and probably ever will. Plus, you get the first 7 days for free. So we do a weekly Facebook Live training on some of the things you hear me teach here on the podcast, but you get to actually interact with me live time. Calls are also recorded, daily sisterhood tip, accountability of other women that are like you, and association of others like you, sister, which is the most important part of this, and access to me and an action plan on how to get the things that you actually want within your life. So that's over at drkarenosburn.com/sisterhood. But if you want to inject some steroids into this experience, then you need to come out here in 41 days, as I record this podcast, into the 30s once you actually listen to this, but 41 days to Women Wanting More Live. It is a one-day event I'm doing in Victoria, BC, Canada, where I live, my beautiful city. I'm recording this podcast right now, walking around, birds tweeting, sun coming out. And we're going to go deep on this. We're going to go deep on this in this one-day event. There'll be 100 of you women like you. Yes, there's other women that are like you, sister. You're not the only one. You're not the anomaly. So we get to go through all these things, but deep at Women Wanting More Live. And right now, let me see. I don't know when this podcast comes out. You might still have early bird tickets. You might not. Either one. It is a minimal investment to have your life change in one fucking day. So that's over at drkarenosburn.com/live, LIVE. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more. It's just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.